you.
Here in Atlanta.
Thank you.
And thank you for giving us the opportunity to be in your midst. And not only that, to get some recipe as to how and what helps makes you who you are, and what it is that you do to continue building the success that you have so far.
Thanks.
So, the first thing I want to ask you is, give us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from? Give us your full name.
You want the rundown? How much time do you have?
A lot of time.
Okay, my name is Chenoa Douglas, and I am actually originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm here 14 years now, 10 days after undergrad. Degree in finance from the University of Memphis. And I thought I would love working in corporate America finance. I thought as long as I'm on a salary job, I'll be fine, because I was done waiting tables in college, and that's the pits, you know? You don't know how much you're going to be making.
Right, that's true.
So I thought I would love it. And I worked for some great companies for a period of 7 years. But every day I woke up miserable.
Wow.
6 months into it, I knew I didn't like what I was doing. And it wasn't the companies. They were great to me.
Right.
It was me. I didn't like what I was doing.
Wow.
I was a cube rat. It was meetings about meetings. It was monotony. My personality really didn't mesh. Not that I didn't get along, but it's just I was obviously different from the people I worked around.
Right.
Now, I would often discuss it with a lot of my coworkers, but they didn't like their jobs either. You know, not everyone likes their job 100%.
Right.
But they had families. You know, they were married, they had kids, they had obligations to where it's kept them stuck where they were.
Right.
So that worked for them.
Right.
And I didn't have a backup career. I love numbers. I've always loved math. So I thought and I love knowing how to make money.
Right.
So I thought finance was going to be it.
Right.
But, you know, after watching, you know, I loved Oprah.
Right.
And she was all about, you know, finding your passion. And, you know, your passion is what you would do for free, and et cetera, et cetera. And I was about 23 then, 24. And I actually asked myself, sitting in my desk, I was working for UPS corporate office at the time. And I was sitting in my cubicle and I said, what would you do for free, Chenoa? And it was cook.
Wow.
Because I always loved to cook.
Right.
To the point where on a Saturday night, instead of being out, I would be calling my aunt, like, how you make roast beef? How you make chicken pot pie? And she's actually yelling at me, girl, you too young to be making chicken pot pie. You need to be out on a date. You need to be having somebody take you out on a date. Forget chicken pot pie, girl. How you just want to go out? That was her, you know?
Right.
But I want to know how to make roast beef.
Right.
So, but you know, there's a huge... You know, I still, even when I found my passion, it was like, how do I get there? Because there's a huge income gap between a chef and a financial, you know, analyst, or, you know, a budget analyst or a budget manager, positions that I've had.
Right. Let's kind of piggyback right there just for a second, because I think a lot of times we think that people make decisions because they have no other choice.
Right.
And in your case, what I'm hearing is that besides you didn't like your job and you were fed up with the fact that internally you just wasn't happy.
Right.
Would you say then that maybe it was more spiritual encounter? Because
absolutely,
a lot of times when people have juggling paying the bills, they have car payment, they have mortgage, and for some who have kids, you know, in your case you didn't have any kid, but you had responsibility.
Right.
So to juggle quitting your job and deciding to go to school, that must have took a lot of faith though.
Absolutely.
So how did you connect,
you know what,
those two?
I know me. I know what it feels like because I felt like that before, believe it or not, when I was in college, actually waiting tables.
Right.
I know what it feels like to have a sense of, I guess you could say, independence from having to be depending on a company or something to provide for myself. And I just felt like, I felt like I was so dependent on them, and I didn't like that personally. Now back to your what you mentioned about faith. Absolutely, it was my faith that told me, because like I said before, my spirit was torn. I wasn't this peaceful person. I was more at peace with myself waiting tables in college, barely paying my rent, than I was now in a seemingly what people call successful career with a good salary.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I was more at peace then.
Wow.
than I was now.
Wow.
That didn't make sense.
Wow.
So you're right. That for me, it was my spirit being torn. You know, just trying to find that peace and get back to the sense of self that I once knew. It was enough. I said, you know what, enough is enough. Went to lunch with a coworker for the 1 millionth time, complaining about how much I hate my job.
Right.
And you know, but by now I knew what I wanted to do.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so
Right.
it's like, okay, now I know I want to do it. How do I get to do it? So he said, well, Chenoa, why? I said, I want to go to culinary school.
Right.
He says, why don't you just go? And I made up all these excuses. Well, I got my house, I got my car, I got this, got
Right.
da. He said, forget all that stuff.
Right.
Just go.
Right. Right.
And so I did.
Wow. So when you went to school now, did you have the intentions that, okay, I'm going to get this degree, come back, get back into, you know, working mentality, or what was going through your mind at this time?
I had two thoughts. One was, okay, you know you're not going to be working in nobody's kitchen the rest of your life, girl, so what are you going to do? That's really the kind of say, like, all right, now you cooking, but, you know, you're not really going to be, you know, in a restaurant your whole life. I'm already early 30s.
Right,
Come on.
right,
That's not going to happen.
Right.
So it was kind of like, boom, the finance side of me kicked in, of course.
Right.
How can you generate income without having to always physically be there or be as physically demanding? Basically, how can you make money, you know, while you're sleeping, so to speak?
Exactly.
So my goal, I said, okay, I do want my own line of foods.
Okay.
You know, because to me, that just made sense. You
Okay.
know, the people who work for, you know, Dole or General Mills, they're not working 24/7. They make a batch and they go to bed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay.
What the products would be, I had no idea.
Okay.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You
Right.
can make something that's already out there, just make it better.
Yeah.
Or different.
Yeah. Right.
You know, so I started playing around, you know, I was like, well, I've not seen a crepe batter mix. Let me do crepes, you know. I worked at a restaurant where, you know, their bread was where they served fresh baked popovers.
Okay.
And people would always go, oh my God, I love that.
Right.
Blah, 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 going crazy over it. And I was like, I can do a popover mix, you know. So I did that. And then I developed, you know, a blueberry biscuit mix, you know, put a spin on biscuits. So there's a blueberry flavored biscuit. Then I did a barbecue sauce and I marketed it towards seafood. It's called Sea Grill barbecue sauce for seafood. Thank you. Barbecue sauce for seafood. You know, did that. And so I had those 4 products that I developed and spent countless hours, because even, you know, again, there's no book for I want my own line of foods.
Right.
You don't know where to go.
Right.
You don't know where to start. You know, you don't. What do I just walk in a grocery
Right.
store with a bottle?
Right,
You know?
right.
You don't know. So I was researching. You know, at the time I was working at a restaurant. I was working night shifts, and I would have to be working about 3 in the afternoon.
Right.
So I would wake up at 5 in the morning,
Wow.
and from 5 in the morning until about 2:30 in the afternoon,
While everybody's sleeping.
I would be researching, phone calling,
Wow.
emailing, doing all this, you know, research and just data work to try to just get all of this together. Again, because you have to get a label,
Right.
you have to get nutritional facts, you have to find out who governs this particular item that you're trying to sell. You know, you have to get packaging, get somebody to design the packaging, you might have to have a photo shoot. It was all of that. That took about 2.5 years.
Who was your support team though?
Me, God.
Wow. Are you serious?
5:30 to 2:30 in the morning. There was no team.
Wow.
Oh, the team of me.
Oh my God.
That was the team. I think I had switched jobs from the night job, and I was working this day job at a
Right.
school.
Right.
And I love working the day jobs because they're Monday to Friday.
Right.
5:30 in the morning.
So you could
and I was
just
out
do
by
your thing.
2.
Right.
Right. So it was great. So, but where I worked at the school, the part of the breakfast menu was French toast.
Oh, okay.
And I made French toast every day. And we didn't have, there was no recipe
Right.
that they gave me. It was just make some French toast. So I made it. And I would probably make about 5 or 6 gallons of French toast mix.
Right.
And these are adult students that, you know, Monday through Friday, they're coming back every day, every morning or whatever. And I would go through about 500 or 600 slices of French toast every morning.
Right.
And it wasn't just that I was running out that, you know, made me say, but it was, people would be willing, like if I said, like, breakfast was over at 10:15,
Right.
so we have to open for lunch at 10:30. So if
Right.
you come in at 10:15, you're like, "Are you gonna make some more French toast?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, it's gonna be like an hour
Right.
before I can make some more French toast." "Okay, I'll wait."
Wow.
And that would happen all the time.
Right.
Like a lot, to the point where it was like, okay, instead of me getting angry about it,
Right.
it's like light bulb went off. You need to add French toast to the line. So I did. And then I was ready to go to the markets, and I went to the little local neighborhood farmers markets, and I would sell with them on, sometimes during the week and on Saturdays.
Wow.
And they're just neighborhood markets where, people from the neighborhood come and buy fresh farm produce from farmers or
Right.
vendors like me, or
Right.
fresh baked goods. And I was probably going to about 3 or 4 a week. And at this time I did have a team, because it was so many markets, and I wanted to hit all of them,
Yeah.
that I did have people go to other markets to sell the products.
Right.
French toast would always sell out.
Wow.
Always. It's like the lost child. Because I'm thinking, when I was even making the product, I was like, who doesn't know how to make French toast? You know what I mean?
A lot of people.
A lot of people I'm finding.
Right.
And it's not even about who doesn't know how to make it. Can make it easier, consistent,
And taste good.
and taste good. Right. So, again, back to, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. All the other products will reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Right. This one
I love French toast.
Right.
Okay, so you finally decide, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna do this. I'm not gonna work for anybody.
Right.
I'm gonna be my own boss.
Right.
And so you did your first batch.
Mm-hmm.
You packaged it. You put the label on it.
Yes.
Tell me the experience that you experienced when the first package was sold.
Oh, wow. It was surreal. It was surreal because you don't, you'll have friends and family who taste it, etc. Oh, yeah, it's good, but you just to have an outside person really believe in your product, and they're spending their money, it was amazing. And then again, this is probably, I can't keep plants alive, so the only one of the few things I've seen from birth, if you will, to development in a long time. So these are like my babies.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's surreal. It's like it keeps you motivated, because she's like, wow, okay, I did it. Did that little part.
Right.
Maybe let me try to move forward a little bit more.
Right.
The baby steps you have to count when you have a small business. So, I mean, it was amazing. And then I had customers who, at some farmers markets, before I'm even set up, they were running out of their car like, okay, I just came by. I just need 2 of those French toasts. Okay. They love this stuff. Okay, thanks, bye. It's just moments like that are priceless.
That is.
Because you could be having a down week, and you get something like that, and you're like, okay, doing the right thing.
I always say to my students all the time that your best business partner to have is God.
Yes.
For some of us who believe in God, and for some of us who believe in energy or the universe, it's still all one power. And so to just be in your midst and just to hear your story, it is truly not only a blessing, but it's a privilege.
Thank you.
And so to our viewers, another provocative night as we listen to Ms. Douglas and her journey and to hear her vision. I will not only say that I am so honored, but I thank God for this opportunity to even see this night. And so to all of you out there who are in the process of wanting to start your business, you've been sitting on this idea, but you did nothing about it. But here's the living proof. It's called a recipe, and many other recipes to come.